Okay, let's unpack this. You've sent over a truly fascinating collection of medical research.
It's quite a stack, isn't it?
Definitely. It looks like you're exploring the real cutting edge of how artificial intelligence is weaving its way through healthcare.
Yeah, touching everything from diagnostics, workflows, even, big ethical questions.
Exactly. We've got studies here looking at machine learning for something maybe surprising power grid optimization. We'll circle back to why that's relevant.
Mhm.
Then a deep dive into large language models, LLMs, in medicine, generating advanced MRI data, predicting cancer survival.
Evaluating AI decision support tools.
Right. And the ethics of how we even get the data to train these models. AI for interactive storytelling, using LLMs for radiology reports.
Predicting therapeutic properties, segmenting images, wound care.
It keeps going. Diagnosing rare diseases, managing blood cultures, using AI to look at health disparities in images.
Pinpointing causes of epilepsy, predicting kids' height.
Improving breast cancer detection, enhancing diagnosis with, like, multi-round questioning.
And even finding flaws in AI reasoning, predicting diabetes early, and looking at attacking these medical AI systems.
Wow. Quite the journey you've set us on.
Oh.
Our goal today, I think, is to pull out the most significant insights from all this, connect the dots, and really highlight what's important for our listeners to understand.
Sounds good. And it's remarkable just seeing the sheer scope of where AI is being tested and applied.
So let's start with that power grid one. It feels like a bit of an outlier at first glance.
It does, yeah. The work by Mohammedian, Van Boven, and Baker. But what it really highlights is AI's ability to handle incredibly complex systems.
Okay.
They use machine learning, specifically with something called counterfactual explanations. Think of it as the AI not just saying, here's a problem, but also, here's the smallest change that would have prevented it.
Ah, okay. So it suggests fixes.
Exactly. To diagnose and fix issues in managing power flow, making it cost-effective and reliable. The key idea is AI suggesting efficient solutions, even in huge networks.
And the connection to medicine is the complexity.
Precisely. It makes you wonder if similar AI approaches could diagnose and suggest fixes for, the incredibly complex systems inside the human body.
Right. Dissecting intricate interactions and finding the best interventions. Okay, it makes sense. Now, shifting directly into medicine, a really critical piece is dealing with uncertainty in these large language models.
That's a big one.
𝗲𝗏 and her colleagues really tackled this head-on. They argue, basically, don't try to eliminate uncertainty. Maybe that's impossible with medical knowledge sometimes.
Right. Medicine isn't always black and white.
Exactly. So instead, they say we should focus on managing it. They developed a framework using statistics and language analysis to understand different types of uncertainty.
And the goal is more transparent and ethical AI.
That's what struck me, acknowledging that the knowledge itself has limits.
That's such an important point for actually using AI in clinical decisions responsibly, accepting and quantifying uncertainty. It means moving away from expecting absolute answers from AI and seeing it more as a tool that can also say, here's how confident I am.
Building trust by being open about limitations.
Exactly, instead of this flawless oracle idea.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now let's zoom in on medical imaging. 𝗲𝗏𝗋𝗋 and his team introduced PhaseGen, an AI model for generating synthetic MRI raw data.
Okay, synthetic data, how does that help?
Well, here's the interesting bit. They point out that clinically, we mostly look at standard magnitude MRI images. But the raw data also has phase information, like extra details about signal timing.
Which usually is ignored.
Often, yeah. But their model, trained just on the common magnitude images, can create the corresponding phase data.
Ah, generating the missing piece.
Right. And what's clever is this generated phase data actually improved performance on tasks like skull stripping, getting a clearer brain view, and just general MRI reconstruction.
So it's like extracting hidden value from the data we already have.
Exactly, a way to leverage existing data sets more effectively.
That's pretty neat. It means potentially enhancing MRI utility without needing totally new, complex scans. Generating phase from magnitude that could save costs and effort, especially where getting full data is tough.
Absolutely. And speaking of making the most of data for predictions, Polycarp-Nalila and colleagues used machine learning to predict survival for cancer patients with metastatic patterns.
Looking at how cancer spread impacts prognosis.
Yeah. Analyzing a large data set, they identified key predictors, like how many places the cancer spread to, which specific organs were involved.
And could they tell which factors were most important?
Yes. Their best model used something called SHAP explanations to show exactly that. to make it interpretable.
That transparency is crucial in medicine, isn't it? Seeing why the AI predicts something.
Totally. If we connect this to personalized medicine, their work really shows how machine learning could help tailor treatment plans, give patients clearer expectations.
And that interpretability, the SHA part, is key for getting clinicians to actually trust and use these predictive tools.
Okay, back to language models. Venkat Srinivasan and the team presented 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗰𝗹, an explainable language model for medical Q&A.
Explainable is the key word there.
Right. They emphasize that unlike many LLMs, 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗶 is designed for transparency. It doesn't hallucinate or make things up, a huge concern in medicine.
That's a very serious concern.
And it needs less computing power. Its strong performance on PubMed-QA, which is a tough medical question data set, suggests it's a promising alternative.
So getting good results on hard medical questions while being explainable and more efficient, that sounds like a significant step. Addresses key LLM limitations, the black box problem, and inaccuracy risk.
Definitely. And then Venkatesh Sivaraman and his colleagues raised some really important questions about how we even evaluate these AI systems meant to help doctors.
How we measure success.
Exactly. They argue current metrics like trust or reliance don't always capture the real-world value or the downsides.
Like, does the doctor just click accept without thinking? Or does it actually help their workflow?
Precisely. They're pushing for more realistic evaluations. How does AI really impact clinicians' work? Does it lead to better patient outcomes?
That's fundamental, isn't it? What metrics truly reflect clinical utility? Just measuring trust might miss the mark completely if the tool isn't actually helpful, or, worse, leads to errors.
We need more sophisticated ways to assess that integration into practice.
Agreed.
Now, turning to broader implications, Dongyang Fan and team looked at data access for LLMs. Specifically, what happens if websites or publishers opt out of web crawling?
The data input side. How does limiting the training data affect the AI?
They found general knowledge isn't significantly hurt, but performance in specialized areas like biomedical research can drop if major publishers' data is excluded.
Interesting trade-off. So general web data is okay for general knowledge, but specialized fields might need that deeper, potentially restricted data.
Yeah, it highlights this tension, right, between data compliance, opt-outs, and achieving top performance in specific domains.
Underscores the complexity of training powerful AI while respecting data boundaries.
Okay, shifting gears quite dramatically now. Jiayang Huang and colleagues presented an artistic project, The Dream Within Huanglong Cave.
Art using AI. How?
They used AI for interactive storytelling, focused on emotional reflection. They created a virtual agent based on family archetypes, drawing on psychoanalytic theory.
Wow. So exploring family relationships and emotions through AI.
Yeah, a really unique, less conventional application of LLMs shows their versatility beyond just analytical tasks.
Definitely pushes the boundaries into creative expression, exploring human emotion. Fascinating.
Back to more direct medical uses, Qiuyun Choi and team focused on improving automated radiology report generation using LLMs.
Making the AI write better reports.
Kind of. They proposed a retrieval augmented generation approach, RAG. The AI first pulls key phrases from existing reports to focus on the essential diagnostic info.
RAG. So it uses existing knowledge to guide the generation.
Right, and their method got strong results on chest X-ray reports without needing massive fine-tuning of the LLM itself.
That's more efficient. A practical way to leverage LLMs in radiology without the huge computational cost of retraining. Focus on key phrases makes sense.
Next up, Eric Wang and colleagues introduced TxGemma, a suite of efficient LLMs specifically for therapeutic development. Drug discovery.
LLMs for finding new drugs.
Yeah, these models can predict if a potential drug might work, reason interactively, explain their predictions.
Explainability again? Crucial.
Absolutely. Their performance across many tasks shows the potential for these generalist LLMs to really speed up drug discovery.
TxGemma sounds like a big step for applying LLMs there. Predicting properties, reasoning, explaining could be a game changer for finding promising treatments faster.
Okay, image segmentation next. Siyu Dai and team tackled this teaching AI to identify structures in medical images.
A common but hard task.
They proposed Zeus, a framework using frozen LLMs. Think of it as using the LLM's language understanding.
Even though it's an image task.
Exactly. The LLM generates instructions based on the medical image, mimicking how a doctor might describe it. This allows multimodal segmentation without needing huge paired vision-language datasets.
Which are hard to come by in medicine.
Right. So it's a novel way to leverage LLM smarts for image analysis, getting around data scarcity.
That Zeus framework sounds innovative. Using frozen LLMs' instruction-following ability to bridge vision and text without perfectly matched datasets. That could really broaden AI use here.
Now, an area often overlooked, wound segmentation. Vanessa Borst and her colleagues addressed this.
Analyzing wound images automatically.
Yeah. They benchmarked different AI models for automated wound monitoring and figured out how to turn the AI's segmented mask into a clinically useful wound size estimate.
Making it practical for doctors.
Exactly. Big potential for improving remote wound care, especially for vulnerable populations who can't easily get to a clinic.
Good point. Highlighting the need to apply AI across the board, including areas like wound care, benchmarking models, finding practical outputs like size estimation could really help remote monitoring.
Okay, this next one is really interesting. Qianyang Zhou and team developed an LLM-driven multi-agent debate system.
AI agents arguing with each other for diagnosis.
Yes. To diagnose Mendelian disease's rare genetic disorders, they had data-driven AI agents and knowledge-driven AI agents debate in natural language.
And the result?
Significantly improved diagnostic accuracy and reduced the time it took. It showcases the power of combining different AI approaches, having them challenge each other.
That multi-agent debate system sounds fascinating. Integrating different AI methods like that using natural language debate, a very novel and promising direction for complex diagnoses.
Then Fatemeh Amrollahi and colleagues focused on blood culture stewardship, basically reducing unnecessary tests.
Trying to predict who really needs a blood culture.
Right. They found machine learning models that integrated both structured data, like lab results, and unstructured data, like doctor's notes.
The messy text data.
Exactly. Those models predicted the risk of bacteria in the blood better than expert recommendations, or even an LLM-based pipeline alone.
So combining structured and unstructured data was key.
Seems so. Could lead to fewer unnecessary cultures and maybe less overuse of antibiotics.
Demonstrates the power of integrating all types of EHR data. Outperforming guidelines and even pure LLM approaches in predicting bacteremia risk is quite something.
Now, using AI analysis of images to study health disparities, Heather Whitney and team explored this.
How does that work?
They developed a pipeline to extract quantitative measures from chest radiographs, like measurements of lung features or heart size maybe.
Okay, getting numbers from the images.
And then use those numbers to calculate imaging-derived health disparity indices based on sex and race.
So seeing if image features correlate with demographic disparities.
Yeah, their feasibility study suggests large-scale AI image analysis could be a novel data source for understanding why health outcomes differ between groups.
That's a really interesting angle. Using AI to get quantitative data from images to study disparities could offer totally new insights into non-genetic factors affecting health across populations.
Lorenzo Lasagne and colleagues looked at detecting a specific cause of drug-resistant epilepsy from MRI's focal cortical dysplasia type 2. It's hard to spot.
Right, often subtle on scans.
They used 3D convolutional neural networks, plus transfer learning and explainable AI.
A combination of advanced techniques.
And found transfer learning boosted accuracy, while the explainability techniques help the model focus on clinically relevant brain regions, bridging the AI prediction and clinical understanding.
That's key for complex conditions like epilepsy. Combining methods like 3D CNNs and transfer learning with explainability is vital for building trust and getting AI adopted for these tough diagnoses.
Next, predicting future height in children. Doo-Hyun Chun and team developed an AI model for this using anthropometric and body composition data.
Predicting how tall kids will get.
Yeah, and apparently quite accurately. Explainable AI showed the key predictors, and the model can even generate personalized growth curves.
Like a chart showing expected growth.
Exactly. Could be a valuable tool for pediatricians to monitor growth and spot potential disorders early.
Seems very practical. Accuracy plus identifying predictors and generating personalized curves. Useful clinical decision support for monitoring child development.
Then, Jung-Kyu Park and colleagues created a multimodal AI system for breast cancer detection.
Multimodal meaning?
It integrates data from both 2D and 3D mammography, tomosynthesis.
Using all the available image data.
Right. And their system showed potential to significantly cut down on false positive recalls, those scary callbacks that turn out to be nothing.
Which cause a lot of anxiety.
Definitely. And reduce radiologist workload, all while keeping high sensitivity for detecting actual cancers.
That's a compelling case for multimodal AI in screening, reducing false positives and workload without missing cancers. That's a major potential improvement for screening programs.
Okay, almost there. Yexiang Chen and team introduced MRD-RAG. It's a multi-round Retrieval Augmented Generation Framework.
Another RAG approach, but multi-round.
Yeah, the key difference is it's designed for multi-turn diagnostic dialogues, like a doctor asking clarifying questions.
Ah, so the AI can ask follow-up questions.
Exactly. Mimicking that back-and-forth process, its strong performance suggests this could make LLMs more effective in interactive diagnosis.
That addresses a big limitation, enabling multi-turn conversations like a real doctor-patient interaction that could significantly boost LLM effectiveness in diagnostic settings.
Now, this next one is, well, it's important. 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗰 and colleagues looked at LLMs diagnosing rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay, how did they do?
Well, their best model got high prediction accuracy. But when medical experts look at the reasoning the AI provided,
The explanation for the diagnosis.
yeah, they found the reasoning was often incorrect, clinically flawed.
Wow, so right answer, wrong reason.
Exactly. This misalignment raises serious red flags about just trusting LLM explanations, even when the prediction itself is right.
That's a critical finding. High accuracy but flawed reasoning really underscores the need to scrutinize the why behind AI decisions. Huge concerns about trust and the potential to mislead clinicians, even with correct-seeming outputs.
It's a sobering reminder. Okay, finally, Frida Mosen and Zubar Shah presented ECG Dianet.
ECG, so heart data.
Right. A multimodal deep learning model combining ECG features with clinical risk factors to improve early prediction of type 2 diabetes.
Combining heart signals and other risk factors.
And their combined model outperformed models using only ECG or only clinical data, shows the value of integrating different infotypes for better risk assessment.
A nice illustration of multimodal benefits. Integrating ECG and clinical data gave better early diabetes prediction than either alone. Looking at the problem from multiple data angles provides a more complete picture.
So after that whirlwind tour, what does this all mean for you, our engaged listener? This deep dive really paints a picture of an incredibly active, fast-moving landscape.
Yeah, AI is being applied just about everywhere in medicine, it seems.
From fundamental infrastructure like power grids, reminding us AI tackles broad complexity right down to the nitty-gritty of diagnosis and treatment.
And what stands out, I think, is this growing focus beyond just accuracy.
Right. It's about making AI understandable, ethical, and actually beneficial for both patients and doctors.
The work on uncertainty in LLMs, the push for realistic evaluations, uncovering flawed reasoning, those are crucial reality checks.
We need enthusiasm, yes, but also a really critical eye when bringing AI into medicine.
And here's where connecting the dots gets really interesting. Think about potential synergies. Could explainable AI for medical diagnosis help make power grid optimization more transparent?
Or could the ethical frameworks being discussed for LLM training data inform how we develop AI for drug discovery?
Exactly. And that integration of multimodal data, like in the mammography and diabetes studies, that seems like a really powerful trend moving forward.
Plus, the creative uses, like interactive storytelling, just hint at how broad the applications might become. Things we haven't even thought of yet.
This collection really hammers home the need for a multidisciplinary approach, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just about code. It's understanding the clinic, the ethics, the practical hurdles of putting these tools into the real world.
Each study, in its own way, pushes boundaries while also raising those vital questions about responsible development and use.
Which leads to a final thought for you to consider.
Yeah.
As AI becomes more and more woven into healthcare and really all parts of our lives.
What do you think are the most critical challenges we need to tackle and the biggest opportunities we need to seize to make sure this technology truly serves humanity's best interests?
That's definitely something to mull over.